In the desolate wasteland of Eldoria, where the sun scorched the earth and the wind howled like a banshee, there existed a creature of legend and terror, the Chimera. Half-lion, half-serpent, and half-goat, the Chimera was a grotesque amalgamation of nature's fury. Its lion's head roared with a deafening thunder, its serpent's tail lashed with venomous intent, and its goat's body exuded an acrid stench. But most fearsome of all was its ability to breathe fire, a weapon that could incinerate its enemies in an instant. For centuries, the Chimera had terrorized the inhabitants of Eldoria, its lair hidden deep within the labyrinthine caverns of Mount Ignis. Its presence cast a shadow over the land, a constant reminder of the horrors that lurked in the darkness. One fateful day, a brave knight named Sir Gareth embarked on a perilous quest to slay the Chimera. Armed with a gleaming sword and an unyielding determination, he ventured into the depths of Mount Ignis, his heart pounding with both fear and anticipation. As he descended into the cavern, the air grew heavy with the stench of sulfur and the sound of dripping water. Gareth's torch flickered weakly, casting eerie shadows on the jagged walls. Suddenly, a deafening roar echoed through the darkness, sending shivers down his spine. Gareth drew his sword and cautiously approached the source of the sound. There, in the flickering light of his torch, he beheld the Chimera. Its eyes glowed with an infernal fire, and its breath hissed like a serpent's. Fear surged through Gareth's veins, but he refused to retreat. With a battle cry, he charged at the monstrous creature. The Chimera roared in defiance and unleashed a torrent of fire that engulfed Gareth in an instant. But to Gareth's astonishment, the flames did not harm him. A shimmering barrier of light surrounded him, protecting him from the Chimera's deadly breath. Gareth realized that he had been blessed with a divine power, a gift from the gods themselves. Emboldened by his newfound protection, Gareth fought with renewed vigor. He dodged the Chimera's venomous tail and slashed at its lion's head with his sword. The Chimera roared in pain and fury, but Gareth refused to give up. Finally, with a mighty blow, Gareth pierced the Chimera's heart. The creature let out a deafening scream as its body erupted in flames. The cavern shook with the force of the explosion, and Gareth was thrown backward by the shockwave. As the dust settled, Gareth stood victorious over the slain Chimera. The land of Eldoria was finally free from its terror, and Gareth's name became a legend whispered among the people. But the Chimera's legacy lived on. Its bones were scattered throughout the cavern, a grim reminder of the horrors that had once plagued the land. And as the years passed, tales of the fire-breathing hybrid creature continued to be told, a testament to the power of courage and the indomitable spirit of mankind. In the annals of history, the Chimera became a symbol of both fear and triumph. It represented the darkness that lurks within the human soul and the light that can overcome it. And so, the legend of the Chimera lived on, a timeless tale of the eternal battle between good and evil. In the primordial depths of Tartarus, where darkness reigned supreme and chaos held sway, there dwelled a colossal being of unimaginable power and ferocity. Cottus, one of the three Centimanes, stood as a testament to the raw and untamed forces that shaped the ancient world. With 50 heads, each adorned with a gaping maw filled with razor-sharp teeth, and 100 arms, each capable of wielding a weapon with devastating force, Cottus was a sight to behold. His massive frame, covered in thick, impenetrable scales, towered over the other denizens of Tartarus, casting an ominous shadow upon their realm. Cottus and his brothers, Briareus and Gyges, were born from the union of Uranus, the primordial sky god, and Gaia, the earth goddess. Their immense size and strength made them feared by the other gods, who saw them as a threat to their own power. Zeus, the king of the gods, imprisoned the Centimanes in Tartarus, along with their father, Uranus. There, they languished for centuries, their rage and frustration growing with each passing day. But fate had a different destiny in store for Cottus and his brothers. When the Titans, led by Cronus, rose up against Zeus and the other Olympians, the Centimanes were released from their prison. With thunderous roars, Cottus and his siblings emerged from Tartarus, their massive forms shaking the very foundations of the underworld. They joined forces with Zeus and the Olympians, their combined might proving too much for the Titans to overcome. In the ensuing battle, Cottus wielded his 100 arms with unmatched ferocity. He hurled boulders the size of mountains, shattered the Titans' defenses, and sent them reeling in terror. His 50 heads spewed forth torrents of fire and venom, incinerating his enemies and leaving behind a trail of destruction. As the battle raged, Cottus singled out Cronus, the leader of the Titans. With a deafening roar, he charged at his ancient foe, his arms flailing like a whirlwind. Cronus fought back valiantly, but he was no match for the combined might of Cottus and his brothers. With a final, earth-shattering blow, Cottus struck Cronus down, sending him crashing to the ground. The Titans, their leader defeated, surrendered to the Olympians, and the war came to an end. In recognition of their victory, Zeus granted Cottus and his brothers a place among the gods. They became known as the 100-Handed Ones, and they served as guardians of the underworld, ensuring that the Titans remained imprisoned forever. But even as a god, Cottus never forgot his time in Tartarus. The darkness and despair he had endured left an unyielding mark on his soul. He became a solitary figure, haunted by the memories of his past. He retreated to the desolate shores of the river Styx, where he spent his days brooding over the injustices he had suffered. The other gods feared him, and they kept their distance, knowing that his anger could be unleashed at any moment. And so, Cottus, the 100-Handed One, remained an enigmatic and formidable presence in the pantheon of gods. His immense power and his tragic past made him a symbol of both the destructive and the indomitable forces that shaped the ancient world. In the realm of ancient Greece, where myths and legends intertwined, there existed a formidable creature known as Echidna. Half woman, half serpent, she was the mother of monstrous offspring that terrorized the land. Echidna's origins were shrouded in mystery. Some whispered that she was the daughter of the primordial deities, Gaia and Tartarus, while others believed she emerged from the depths of the underworld. Her upper body resembled that of a beautiful woman, with long, flowing hair and piercing eyes. However, from her waist down, she transformed into a monstrous serpent, her scales shimmering with an iridescent hue. Echidna possessed an uncanny ability to mate with both gods and mortals, giving birth to a brood of monstrous creatures. Among her most infamous offspring were the Chimera, a fire-breathing beast with the head of a lion, the body of a goat, and the tail of a serpent, the Hydra, a multi-headed serpent that grew 2 new heads for every one that was severed, and the Nemean Lion, an invulnerable beast with a hide that could not be pierced by any weapon. Echidna's lair was a desolate cave hidden deep within the mountains. It was said that the air around her dwelling was thick with the stench of decay, and the sound of her hissing filled the night. She was a solitary creature, shunning the company of both gods and mortals. One day, the hero Hercules was tasked with slaying the Nemean Lion. He tracked the beast to Echidna's cave and confronted her. Echidna, recognizing Hercules' strength, attempted to dissuade him from his mission. She warned him of the lion's invulnerability and the dangers that lay ahead. However, Hercules was undeterred. He charged into the cave, his sword drawn. Echidna hissed and coiled her serpent body around him, but Hercules fought back with all his might. In a fierce battle, Hercules managed to overpower Echidna and force her to reveal the lion's weakness. With the knowledge gained from Echidna, Hercules returned to the Nemean Lion's lair and strangled the beast to death. His victory over the lion earned him the title of Hercules the Lion Slayer and cemented his status as a legendary hero. Echidna, defeated and humiliated, retreated to her cave. She continued to give birth to monstrous offspring, but her power and influence waned over time. As the gods and heroes of Greece grew stronger, Echidna's brood was gradually vanquished. And so, the legend of Echidna, the half-woman, half-serpent mother of monsters, faded into the annals of history. Her name became synonymous with terror and the horrors that lurked in the shadows. But even in her defeat, Echidna's legacy lived on, a testament to the power of the ancient myths and the enduring fascination with the creatures that haunted the imaginations of mankind. In the primordial depths of ancient Greece, where the boundaries between gods and mortals blurred, there existed a formidable entity known as Echidna, the mother of monsters. Her origins shrouded in mystery, she was said to be the offspring of the sea goddess Ceto and the giant Phorcys. Echidna possessed an uncanny appearance that defied description. Her upper body resembled that of a beautiful woman, with long, flowing hair and piercing eyes that could both allure and terrify. However, her lower half was that of a monstrous serpent, its scales shimmering with an iridescent hue. As the mother of monsters, Echidna was responsible for giving birth to a myriad of fearsome creatures that plagued the world. Among her most notorious offspring were the Chimera, a three-headed beast with the body of a lion, the head of a goat, and the tail of a serpent, the Hydra, a multi-headed serpent that grew 2 new heads for every one that was severed, and the Sphinx, a winged creature with the head of a woman and the body of a lion. Echidna's lair was said to be located in a desolate cave on the island of Crete. There, she dwelled in solitude, her monstrous children guarding her from intruders. Her presence cast a shadow over the land, instilling fear and dread in the hearts of all who dared to approach. One fateful day, the hero Hercules, renowned for his strength and courage, embarked on a quest to slay the Hydra. Guided by the goddess Athena, he ventured into the depths of Echidna's lair. As he approached the Hydra's lair, he was met with a deafening roar that shook the very foundations of the cave. Undeterred, Hercules charged into battle, his sword gleaming in the dim light. The Hydra, with its multiple heads, lunged at him with venomous fangs. Hercules fought valiantly, severing one head after another. However, to his dismay, 2 new heads grew in place of each one he cut off. As the battle raged on, Hercules realized that he could not defeat the Hydra by conventional means. He called upon his divine strength and summoned the aid of his loyal companion, Iolaus. Together, they devised a plan to cauterize the Hydra's necks as Hercules severed its heads. With each head that was cauterized, the Hydra's strength waned. Finally, after a grueling battle, Hercules delivered the final blow, severing the last of the Hydra's heads. As the Hydra's body collapsed, Echidna emerged from the shadows, her eyes blazing with fury. "You have slain my child," she hissed. "You will pay dearly for this." Hercules stood his ground, his sword still drawn. "I have come to rid the world of your monstrous offspring," he declared. "You will not stand in my way." Echidna lunged at Hercules, her serpent-like tail lashing out at him. Hercules dodged her attacks and struck back with his sword. The battle between the hero and the mother of monsters was fierce and unrelenting. In the end, Hercules proved victorious. He struck Echidna a mortal blow, sending her crashing to the ground. As she lay dying, Echidna cursed Hercules and all his descendants. She vowed that they would forever be haunted by the memory of her monstrous children. And so, the legend of Echidna, the mother of monsters, was passed down through generations. Her name became synonymous with fear and terror, a reminder of the dark forces that lurked in the shadows of the ancient world. In the ethereal realm of Tartarus, where shadows danced and the air crackled with ancient power, resided the Erinyes, the goddesses of vengeance and retribution. They were 3 sisters, each with a distinct aspect and a relentless pursuit of justice. Alecto, the eldest, was a harbinger of strife and discord. Her eyes burned with an infernal fire, and her voice could shatter the strongest of wills. She reveled in sowing chaos and torment, her presence heralding the downfall of those who had wronged others. Megaera, the middle sister, was a master of envy and jealousy. Her gaze could wither the most beautiful of flowers, and her words could poison the purest of hearts. She sought vengeance for those who had been wronged by love or betrayal, her wrath consuming all in its path. Tisiphone, the youngest and most fearsome, was the embodiment of punishment and retribution. Her whip, made from the venomous serpents of Tartarus, could inflict unimaginable pain and suffering. She pursued the wicked relentlessly, her presence a constant reminder of the consequences of their actions. One fateful day, a mortal named Eurydice was unjustly murdered by her husband, Orpheus. Grief-stricken and desperate, Orpheus descended into the underworld to retrieve her soul. As he traversed the treacherous depths of Tartarus, he encountered the Erinyes. Alecto, her eyes blazing with fury, confronted Orpheus. "You dare to challenge the laws of the underworld?" she hissed. "Your wife's death was a just punishment for her betrayal." Megaera, her voice dripping with venom, added, "You seek to undo the natural order. Your love for Eurydice is a mockery of justice." Tisiphone, her whip crackling with anticipation, threatened, "You will pay dearly for your insolence. The Erinyes will not rest until you have suffered the full extent of your crime." Undeterred, Orpheus played his lyre, its enchanting melodies filling the cavernous halls of Tartarus. The Erinyes, their hearts momentarily softened by the beauty of his music, hesitated. Hades, the lord of the underworld, emerged from his throne, intrigued by the commotion. He listened to Orpheus's plea and, moved by his love and determination, granted him a chance to retrieve Eurydice. However, Hades imposed a condition: Orpheus could not look back at Eurydice until they had both reached the surface world. If he failed, Eurydice would be lost to him forever. As Orpheus and Eurydice ascended the treacherous path out of Tartarus, the Erinyes watched with bated breath. Alecto, her anger reignited, whispered temptations into Orpheus's ear, urging him to break his promise. Megaera, her jealousy consuming her, filled Eurydice's mind with doubts and fears. Tisiphone, her whip poised to strike, threatened to drag Eurydice back into the depths of Tartarus if Orpheus faltered. But Orpheus, his love for Eurydice unwavering, resisted the temptations and distractions. He focused on the sound of her footsteps behind him, a beacon of hope in the darkness. Just as they reached the surface world, Orpheus's heart skipped a beat. He could hear Eurydice's breath, feel her presence so close. In a moment of doubt, he turned to look at her. Instantly, Eurydice vanished, her soul forever lost to the underworld. The Erinyes, their vengeance complete, let out a chorus of triumphant laughter. From that day forward, the Erinyes continued their relentless pursuit of justice, their presence a constant reminder of the consequences of wrongdoing. They haunted the guilty, their whips a symbol of the retribution that awaited those who dared to defy the laws of the gods. And so, the Erinyes, the goddesses of vengeance and retribution, remained an eternal force in the underworld, their names forever etched in the annals of myth and legend. In the realm of Tartarus, where the air crackled with infernal heat and the ground trembled beneath the weight of ancient horrors, there lived a monstrous being named Geryon. With 3 colossal bodies fused together, he towered over the desolate landscape like a grotesque titan. Geryon's heads, each adorned with a pair of piercing eyes and a gaping maw, scanned the barren wasteland with an insatiable hunger. His 6 arms, each as thick as a tree trunk, were covered in scales and tipped with razor-sharp claws. His wings, vast and leathery, spread out like a macabre canopy, casting an ominous shadow over the cursed land. As the ruler of the red cattle, Geryon possessed a vast herd that grazed upon the withered grass of Tartarus. These beasts, with their fiery eyes and crimson hides, were as formidable as their master. They roamed the desolate plains, their thunderous hooves shaking the very foundations of the underworld. One fateful day, as Hercules, the legendary hero, descended into Tartarus to retrieve the golden apples of the Hesperides, he encountered Geryon. The giant, alerted to the intruder's presence, rose from his slumber and bellowed a deafening roar that echoed through the abyss. Hercules, undeterred by the monstrous sight before him, drew his bow and let loose a volley of arrows. But Geryon's scales deflected the projectiles with ease. The hero then charged forward, wielding his mighty club. A fierce battle ensued, the ground shaking beneath their feet. Geryon's 3 bodies fought with a ferocity that matched Hercules' own. His claws tore at the hero's flesh, while his wings beat down upon him with the force of a hurricane. But Hercules, with his unwavering determination, fought back with equal vigor. He dodged Geryon's attacks and struck with precision, each blow sending shockwaves through the giant's massive frame. As the battle raged, Hercules noticed that Geryon's middle body was more vulnerable than the others. With a swift maneuver, he lunged forward and plunged his club into the giant's heart. A deafening cry filled the air as Geryon's three bodies collapsed to the ground, his lifeblood staining the barren earth. Hercules had triumphed over the monstrous ruler of the red cattle, proving once again that even the most formidable of foes could be vanquished by the indomitable spirit of a hero. With Geryon's defeat, the red cattle scattered in terror, their fiery eyes extinguished. Hercules, his task completed, gathered the golden apples and made his way back to the realm of the living, leaving behind the desolate wasteland and the memory of his epic battle with the three-bodied giant. And so, the legend of Geryon, the monstrous ruler of the red cattle, was passed down through generations, a tale of courage, determination, and the triumph of good over evil in the darkest depths of the underworld. In the primordial depths of Tartarus, where darkness reigned supreme and the echoes of ancient battles reverberated through the void, there dwelled a colossal being of unimaginable power and ferocity. Gyges, one of the three Centimanes, stood as a testament to the raw and untamed forces that shaped the cosmos. With 50 heads, each adorned with a gaping maw filled with razor-sharp teeth, and 100 arms, each capable of wielding a mountain, Gyges was a sight to behold. His skin was as black as the abyss, and his eyes glowed with an infernal fire that could pierce through the darkest of nights. Legend had it that Gyges and his brethren, Briareos and Cottus, were born from the union of Uranus, the primordial sky god, and Gaia, the earth mother. Their immense size and strength made them feared by both gods and mortals alike. When the Titans, led by Cronus, rose up against their father, Uranus, the Centimanes remained loyal to the old order. They fought valiantly alongside the Olympians, hurling boulders and wielding their mighty arms with devastating force. After the Titans were defeated and cast into Tartarus, the Centimanes were tasked with guarding the gates of the underworld. They stood as silent sentinels, their 100 arms forever entwined, preventing any escape from the realm of the dead. But Gyges was not content with his role as a mere guardian. He yearned for freedom and the chance to unleash his true power upon the world. One fateful day, he broke free from his chains and emerged from Tartarus, his thunderous footsteps shaking the very foundations of the earth. As he strode across the land, Gyges left a trail of destruction in his wake. Mountains crumbled before his might, and rivers were diverted by his colossal arms. The gods and mortals alike trembled at his approach, knowing that they were facing a force that could not be contained. Zeus, the king of the gods, summoned his fellow Olympians to confront Gyges. A fierce battle ensued, the heavens ablaze with lightning and the earth trembling beneath their feet. But even the combined might of the gods proved insufficient to defeat the colossal giant. In desperation, Zeus turned to his father, Cronus, who had been imprisoned in Tartarus. Cronus revealed that Gyges could only be defeated by a weapon forged from the heart of a star. With the help of Hephaestus, the god of fire, Zeus crafted a celestial spear that radiated with an otherworldly glow. Armed with this weapon, he returned to the battlefield and confronted Gyges once more. A titanic clash ensued, the ground beneath their feet shattering into 1,000 pieces. Finally, Zeus hurled the celestial spear with all his might, piercing Gyges' heart. The giant roared in agony as his body crumbled into dust, his 50 heads and 100 arms vanishing into nothingness. With Gyges' defeat, the threat to the world was averted. The Olympians returned to their celestial abode, their victory hard-won but secure. And so, the legend of Gyges, the colossal giant with 50 heads and 100 arms, was passed down through generations, a tale of immense power and the indomitable spirit of the gods. In the ethereal realm of ancient Greece, where gods and titans roamed, there existed a formidable figure named Gyges. As the titan of storms, he commanded the tempestuous forces of nature, unleashing his wrath upon the mortal world. Gyges' origins were shrouded in mystery. Some whispered that he was the son of Gaia, the Earth Mother, and Uranus, the Sky Father. Others believed he emerged from the primordial chaos that preceded the birth of the gods. Regardless of his lineage, Gyges possessed immense power that could both awe and terrify. His form was as colossal as the storms he controlled. His skin shimmered with the iridescent hues of lightning, and his eyes crackled with the energy of thunder. His hair, a tangled mass of clouds, billowed behind him like a tempestuous banner. Gyges' abode was the stormy peaks of Mount Othries, where he dwelled amidst the howling winds and crashing thunderbolts. From his lofty perch, he surveyed the mortal realm, his gaze piercing through the clouds and into the hearts of men. When Gyges' wrath was stirred, he unleashed his fury upon the world. He summoned howling gales that tore through forests, uprooting trees and leveling homes. He hurled thunderbolts that shattered mountains and ignited wildfires. The seas trembled at his command, rising into towering waves that threatened to engulf coastal cities. Mortals feared Gyges' power, but they also revered him. In times of drought, they prayed to him for rain. When storms threatened their crops, they offered sacrifices to appease his wrath. Gyges, in his capricious nature, sometimes granted their pleas, but more often than not, he reveled in the chaos he created. One fateful day, as Gyges surveyed the mortal realm, his gaze fell upon a young shepherd named Lycus. Lycus was a pious and humble man who lived a simple life tending his flock. Intrigued by Lycus's unwavering faith, Gyges decided to test him. He disguised himself as a mortal and approached Lycus, offering him a gift. "I am a traveler from afar," Gyges said, his voice disguised. "I have heard tales of your piety and wish to reward you." Lycus hesitated, but his curiosity got the better of him. He accepted Gyges' gift, which turned out to be a magical ring. "This ring," Gyges explained, "has the power to make you invisible. Use it wisely." Lycus thanked Gyges and returned to his flock. At first, he used the ring for harmless pranks, such as eavesdropping on conversations and playing tricks on his friends. However, as time went on, the allure of the ring's power corrupted his heart. Lycus began to use the ring for selfish purposes. He stole from the rich and oppressed the weak. He indulged in forbidden pleasures and betrayed the trust of those who loved him. Gyges, watching from afar, was both amused and disgusted by Lycus's actions. One day, Lycus's crimes caught up with him. He was caught in the act of stealing from a temple and was sentenced to death. As he stood on the scaffold, awaiting his execution, Lycus realized the true cost of his greed. In a moment of desperation, he cried out to Gyges, begging for mercy. Gyges, moved by Lycus's remorse, appeared before him. "You have abused the power I gave you," Gyges said. "But I will grant you one final wish." Lycus asked to be remembered as a warning to others who would dare to misuse the power of invisibility. Gyges agreed and transformed Lycus into a stone statue, forever frozen in the act of his crime. The statue of Lycus became a symbol of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the consequences of betraying one's own values. It stood as a reminder that even the most powerful of beings cannot escape the judgment of the gods. And so, Gyges, the Titan of storms, continued to rule over the tempestuous forces of nature, his wrath a constant threat to mortals who dared to defy the divine order. But his legend also served as a cautionary tale, warning against the perils of unchecked power and the importance of living a life of integrity and humility. In the ethereal realm where the boundaries of reality blurred, there existed a mythical creature of captivating beauty and formidable power, the Harpy. With the alluring form of a woman from the waist up, her ethereal wings spread wide, adorned with iridescent feathers that shimmered like 1,000 rainbows. Her piercing gaze, framed by long, flowing hair that cascaded down her shoulders like a silken waterfall, held an enigmatic allure. Yet, beneath this enchanting facade lay a predatory nature that could strike terror into the hearts of the unwary. Aella, a solitary harpy, soared through the skies above the desolate mountains of Etheria. Her keen eyes scanned the barren landscape below, searching for sustenance. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the rugged terrain, she spotted a lone traveler making his perilous journey through the treacherous pass. The traveler, a weary merchant named Darius, was unaware of the danger that lurked above. His mind was preoccupied with thoughts of reaching his destination before nightfall. As he trudged along, his footsteps echoed through the desolate silence. Ayala's instincts flared. The scent of fresh prey filled the air, tantalizing her senses. With a swift and silent descent, she swooped down upon Darius, her sharp talons extended. The merchant gasped in horror as the Harpy's claws pierced his flesh. Darius fought back with all his might, but his feeble attempts were no match for Ayala's overwhelming strength. She lifted him effortlessly into the air, her powerful wings carrying them both towards her secluded lair. As they soared through the darkening sky, Darius's fear turned to a strange sense of awe. He had never encountered a creature so magnificent and terrifying. Ayala's beauty captivated him, even as her predatory instincts threatened his life. In her lair, a secluded cave hidden amidst towering cliffs, Ayala prepared to feast upon her captive. She stripped Darius of his belongings, revealing a small, leather-bound journal filled with intricate drawings and cryptic notes. Curiosity overcame Ayala. She had never encountered a human who possessed such knowledge and artistry. As she flipped through the pages, she discovered Darius's passion for exploring the unknown and his longing for a life beyond the confines of his village. A strange stirring began within Ayala. For centuries, she had lived in solitude, her only companions the harsh winds and desolate mountains. Darius's journal offered a glimpse into a world she had never known, a world of human emotions, dreams, and aspirations. As the night wore on, Ayala found herself torn between her primal instincts and a growing fascination with her captive. She had never considered the possibility of coexistence between humans and harpies, but Darius's words and drawings planted a seed of doubt in her mind. With the first rays of dawn, Ayala made a decision that would forever alter the course of her existence. She released Darius, her talons gently unfurling from his flesh. As he stumbled to his feet, she watched him with a mixture of sadness and hope. "Go," she whispered, her voice a haunting melody. "Return to your world, but remember the harpy who spared your life. And know that there is more to this realm than meets the eye." Darius, stunned and bewildered, stumbled out of the cave and into the rising sun. As he made his way back to his village, he carried with him the memory of his encounter with Ayala, the harpy who had shown him both the darkness and the light that could coexist within a single creature. And so, the legend of Ayala, the harpy who bridged the divide between humans and mythical beings, was passed down through generations. It became a tale of hope, reminding people that even in the most unlikely of places, beauty and compassion could prevail. In the realm of ancient Greece, where legends intertwined with history, there lived a formidable creature that terrorized the land of Lerna, the Hydra. This monstrous serpent possessed an uncanny ability to regenerate its heads, making it an almost invincible adversary. The Hydra's lair was a desolate swamp, its fetid waters teeming with venomous creatures. Its lair was a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers, where the Hydra slithered and lurked, its multiple heads hissing with malice. Among the heroes of Greece, Heracles stood tall as the mightiest of all. Known for his superhuman strength and unwavering courage, Heracles was destined to confront the Hydra and rid the land of its terror. As Heracles approached the swamp, the air grew heavy with the stench of decay. The ground beneath his feet squelched with every step, and the sound of the Hydra's hissing echoed through the mist. Undeterred, Heracles drew his trusty sword and charged into the Hydra's lair. The serpent met him with a deafening roar, its multiple heads lunging at him with venomous fangs. Heracles fought valiantly, cleaving through the Hydra's heads with his sword. But for every head he severed, two more grew in its place. The battle seemed endless, and Heracles began to despair. Just when all hope seemed lost, Heracles' nephew, Iolaus, came to his aid. Iolaus brought with him a burning torch, and as Heracles struck off each head, Iolaus seared the stump with the torch, preventing it from regenerating. Together, Heracles and Iolaus fought tirelessly, their combined efforts slowly weakening the Hydra. Finally, with a mighty blow, Heracles severed the Hydra's central head, the source of its regenerative power. As the Hydra's last head fell, its body writhed in agony and then lay still. The swamp fell silent, and the stench of decay dissipated. Heracles had triumphed over the monstrous serpent, freeing the land of Lerna from its terror. In recognition of his victory, Heracles was hailed as a hero throughout Greece. The Hydra's severed heads were displayed as trophies, a testament to his courage and strength. And so, the legend of Heracles and the Hydra became a tale whispered among the people, a reminder that even the most formidable of foes can be overcome with determination and the help of loyal companions. But the Hydra's legacy did not end there. Its multiple heads became a symbol of resilience and the ability to overcome adversity. In art and literature, the Hydra has been depicted as a metaphor for challenges that seem insurmountable but can be conquered through perseverance and collaboration. And so, the story of Heracles and the Hydra continues to inspire generations, reminding us that even in the face of seemingly impossible odds, courage, determination, and the support of others can lead to victory. In the labyrinth's depths, where shadows danced and secrets whispered, there lived a creature of myth and legend, the Minotaur. With the head of a bull and the body of a man, it roamed the winding corridors, its thunderous footsteps echoing through the stone. Once, a young hero named Theseus ventured into the labyrinth, guided by the thread of Ariadne. As he navigated the treacherous paths, the Minotaur's presence grew stronger. Its heavy breathing sent shivers down his spine, and its guttural roars reverberated through the air. Theseus knew he had to confront the beast. With his sword drawn, he cautiously approached the Minotaur's lair. The creature emerged from the darkness, its eyes blazing with fury. Its massive horns glistened in the dim light, and its nostrils flared with anticipation. A fierce battle ensued. Theseus dodged the Minotaur's powerful charges and parried its deadly blows. The labyrinth shook with the force of their clash, and the walls seemed to close in on them. As the fight raged on, Theseus realized that the Minotaur's strength was waning. Its movements became slower, and its roars grew weaker. With a final surge of adrenaline, Theseus thrust his sword into the creature's heart. A deafening roar filled the labyrinth as the Minotaur collapsed to the ground. Its body twitched and then lay still, its once formidable presence now extinguished. Theseus had slain the Minotaur, but the labyrinth held more secrets. As he retraced his steps, he discovered a hidden chamber. Inside, he found Ariadne, who had been waiting anxiously for his return. Together, they escaped the labyrinth, their hearts filled with both triumph and sorrow. The Minotaur was gone, but its legend would live on forever, a testament to the darkness that lurked within the human soul. Centuries later, the labyrinth was abandoned and forgotten. The Minotaur's lair became a place of pilgrimage for those who sought to connect with the ancient past. Some believe that the creature's spirit still haunted the labyrinth, its mournful cries echoing through the corridors. One fateful night, a group of explorers ventured into the labyrinth, seeking to unravel its mysteries. As they descended into the depths, they felt a strange presence around them. The air grew heavy, and the shadows seemed to take on a life of their own. Suddenly, they heard a faint sound, a low, guttural roar. Their hearts skipped a beat as they realized that the Minotaur was not a mere legend. It was still alive, lurking in the darkness. Panic surged through the explorers as they stumbled through the labyrinth, desperate to escape. The Minotaur pursued them relentlessly, its footsteps pounding behind them. One by one, the explorers fell prey to the creature's wrath. Only one remained, a young woman named Anya. She had been separated from her companions and was lost in the labyrinth's depths. As she wandered aimlessly, she came across a hidden chamber. Inside, she found a glimmering sword. It was the same sword that Theseus had used to slay the Minotaur centuries before. Anya knew that her only chance of survival lay in confronting the creature. With trembling hands, she gripped the sword and waited. The Minotaur's roar grew louder, and its footsteps echoed closer. Anya closed her eyes and took a deep breath. When she opened her eyes, the Minotaur was standing before her. Its eyes burned with hatred, and its horns glistened in the dim light. Anya raised the sword and charged. The battle was fierce, but Anya fought with the courage of a lioness. She dodged the Minotaur's attacks and struck back with all her might. Finally, she delivered a fatal blow to the creature's heart. The Minotaur roared in agony and collapsed to the ground. Anya had slain the beast once more, proving that even in the darkest of times, hope and courage can prevail. As the labyrinth fell silent, Anya made her way back to the surface. She emerged from the depths a hero, carrying the sword of Theseus and the legacy of the Minotaur. And so, the legend of the Minotaur lived on, a tale of darkness and triumph, a reminder that even the most fearsome of creatures can be overcome by the indomitable spirit of humanity. In the verdant realm of Nemea, where lush forests whispered secrets and the sun cast golden rays upon the land, there lived a formidable beast that terrorized the countryside. It was the Nemean Lion, a creature of immense size and unparalleled strength, its hide impervious to all known weapons. Its roar echoed through the valleys, sending shivers down the spines of mortals and gods alike. The lion's reign of terror had cast a shadow over the land, its insatiable hunger leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. Cattle were slaughtered, crops were trampled, and the people lived in constant fear. Desperate for deliverance, they turned to the gods for aid. Among the Olympians, Heracles, the son of Zeus, was renowned for his extraordinary strength and unwavering courage. Hearing the pleas of the Nemean people, he resolved to confront the monstrous lion and rid the land of its scourge. Armed with his trusty bow and arrows, Heracles ventured into the depths of the Nemean forest. As he cautiously made his way through the dense undergrowth, the air grew heavy with anticipation. The sound of the lion's roar reverberated through the trees, sending a surge of adrenaline coursing through his veins. Undeterred, Heracles pressed on, his keen eyes scanning the surroundings. Suddenly, a deafening roar erupted from a nearby thicket. The Nemean lion emerged from the shadows, its massive form towering over Heracles. Its eyes burned with a fiery intensity, and its sharp claws glistened in the sunlight. Without hesitation, Heracles unleashed a volley of arrows at the beast. But to his astonishment, the arrows bounced harmlessly off its impenetrable hide. The lion charged forward, its thunderous footsteps shaking the ground beneath Heracles' feet. As the lion lunged, Heracles dodged its deadly claws and grappled with the colossal creature. A fierce struggle ensued, each combatant straining every sinew to gain the upper hand. Heracles' strength proved to be no match for the lion's supernatural power. Just when all hope seemed lost, Heracles remembered a prophecy that had foretold the lion's weakness. It was said that the beast could only be slain by a weapon forged from its own claws. With renewed determination, Heracles used his superhuman strength to tear one of the lion's claws from its paw. With the lion's own claw in hand, Heracles fashioned a crude but deadly weapon. He sharpened the claw to a razor's edge and waited for the opportune moment to strike. As the lion lunged once more, Heracles thrust the claw deep into its heart. A deafening roar filled the air as the Nemean lion collapsed to the ground, its reign of terror finally ended. Heracles had triumphed over the seemingly invincible beast, proving that even the most formidable of foes could be overcome with courage, determination, and a touch of divine inspiration. The people of Nemea rejoiced, their hearts filled with gratitude for their newfound freedom. From that day forward, Heracles became known as the Nemean Slayer, a legend whispered among mortals and gods alike. The Nemean lion's hide became his impenetrable armor, a testament to his victory over the forces of darkness. And so, the tale of the Nemean lion and its defeat by Heracles was passed down through generations, a timeless reminder that even the most insurmountable challenges can be overcome with unwavering resolve and the favor of the gods. In the ethereal realm of Olympus, where gods and goddesses presided over the mortal world, there existed a formidable deity known as Nemesis. She was the embodiment of divine retribution, the relentless pursuer of those who dared to overstep the boundaries of their mortal existence. Nemesis's origins were shrouded in mystery. Some whispered that she was the daughter of Nyx, the primordial goddess of night, while others believed she was born from the very essence of vengeance itself. Regardless of her lineage, her purpose was clear: to punish the arrogant and restore balance to the cosmic order. Her appearance was as striking as her mission. Nemesis possessed a statuesque form, her alabaster skin adorned with intricate tattoos that depicted scenes of retribution. Her eyes, a piercing shade of emerald, seemed to penetrate the very souls of her victims, revealing their hidden transgressions. Nemesis's weapon of choice was a double-edged sword, its blade forged from the fires of divine wrath. With each swing, she inflicted not only physical pain but also a profound sense of shame and remorse. Her victims were not merely punished, they were made to confront the consequences of their actions and the true nature of their hubris. One fateful day, the mortal king Tantalus, renowned for his wealth and arrogance, invited the gods to a lavish feast. In a moment of reckless pride, he served them the flesh of his own son, Pelops. The gods were horrified and condemned Tantalus to eternal torment in the underworld. Nemesis, ever vigilant, descended upon Tantalus with her sword. She pursued him relentlessly, her footsteps echoing through the desolate landscape. As she closed in, Tantalus realized the futility of his resistance. He had succumbed to the allure of hubris, and now he faced the wrath of the goddess of retribution. With a swift and merciless blow, Nemesis struck Tantalus down. His body crumbled into dust, and his soul was condemned to an eternity of thirst and hunger. The waters of the underworld receded whenever he tried to drink, and the fruits of the trees withered before he could reach them. Nemesis's vengeance did not end with Tantalus. She continued to stalk the mortal realm, seeking out those who had committed acts of arrogance or injustice. She punished the proud, humbled the mighty, and restored balance to the cosmic order. As the centuries passed, Nemesis became a symbol of both fear and respect. Mortals learned to tread carefully, knowing that their actions would be judged by the relentless goddess. Her presence served as a constant reminder that even the most powerful and influential were not immune to the consequences of their hubris. And so, Nemesis, the goddess of revenge and retribution, continued her eternal pursuit, ensuring that the scales of justice remained in equilibrium and that the cosmic order was preserved. Her name became synonymous with the inevitable consequences of arrogance, a testament to the enduring power of divine retribution. In the realm of ancient mythology, where legends intertwined with the fabric of time, there lived a formidable creature known as Orthrus, the two-headed dog of Geryon. His origins shrouded in mystery, Orthrus emerged from the depths of Tartarus, the abyss of the underworld, as a guardian of the monstrous Geryon, a three-headed giant. Orthrus possessed an imposing stature, his massive frame covered in thick, bristly fur that shimmered like obsidian. His two heads, each with its own set of razor-sharp teeth, could snap and growl with terrifying ferocity. His eyes, glowing with an eerie crimson light, seemed to pierce through the very souls of those who dared to cross his path. As the loyal protector of Geryon, Orthrus guarded the giant's vast herds of cattle, which were said to be the most magnificent in all the land. With his keen senses and unwavering vigilance, Orthrus ensured that no intruder could approach the precious livestock. His thunderous bark echoed through the desolate plains, sending shivers down the spines of all who heard it. One fateful day, a renowned hero named Hercules embarked on a perilous quest to steal Geryon's cattle. Hercules, known for his immense strength and cunning, approached the giant's lair with caution. As he drew near, Orthrus emerged from the shadows, his two heads snarling and snapping at the intruder. Undeterred, Hercules raised his mighty club and charged at the monstrous dog. A fierce battle ensued, the air filled with the clash of metal against bone. Orthrus fought with unwavering determination, his teeth bared and his claws extended. But Hercules, with his superior strength and skill, managed to overpower the two-headed beast. With Orthrus defeated, Hercules proceeded to confront Geryon himself. The battle that followed was legendary, the ground shaking beneath their feet as the two titans clashed. In the end, Hercules emerged victorious, slaying Geryon and claiming his cattle as his prize. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the battlefield, Hercules stood triumphant over the fallen Orthrus. The two-headed dog, once a formidable guardian, now lay lifeless at the hero's feet. Its eyes, once filled with fire, now stared blankly into the fading light. And so, the legend of Orthrus, the two-headed dog of Geryon, was passed down through generations. It became a tale of courage and determination, a reminder that even the most fearsome of creatures can be overcome by the indomitable spirit of a hero. In the annals of mythology, Orthrus remained a symbol of loyalty and unwavering devotion. His name became synonymous with the unwavering bond between a master and his protector, a bond that could withstand even the most formidable of challenges. As the centuries turned into millennia, the legend of Orthrus continued to inspire and captivate. Artists and poets immortalized his image in paintings and sculptures, while storytellers wove tales of his bravery and sacrifice. And though the realm of ancient mythology may have faded into the mists of time, the memory of Orthrus, the two-headed dog of Geryon, lived on forever. In the ethereal realm of ancient Greece, where gods and titans clashed in epic battles, there lived a formidable Titaness named Pallene. Her name, derived from the Greek word pallion, meaning to brandish, hinted at her indomitable spirit and unwavering allegiance to the forces of war. Pallene was the daughter of the primordial titans, Uranus and Gaia. Her siblings included the mighty Cronus, the cunning Rhea, and the formidable Oceanus. From her earliest days, she possessed an unyielding determination and a fierce passion for combat. As the Titans waged war against the Olympian gods, Pallene emerged as a formidable warrior. Her towering stature, clad in gleaming bronze armor, instilled fear in the hearts of her enemies. With her massive spear in hand, she charged into battle with unwavering resolve. The clash between the Titans and the Olympians was a cataclysmic event that shook the very foundations of the cosmos. Pallene fought alongside her siblings, her thunderous war cries echoing across the battlefield. She faced the gods with unwavering courage, her spear piercing through their ranks like a bolt of lightning. However, despite her valiant efforts, the Titans were ultimately defeated. Zeus, the king of the gods, hurled his thunderbolts with devastating force, shattering the Titans' defenses. Pallene, along with her siblings, was cast into the depths of Tartarus, a realm of eternal darkness and torment. Yet, even in the abyss, Pallene's spirit remained unbroken. She became a symbol of defiance and resistance, inspiring hope among those who dared to challenge the established order. Her name was whispered in hushed tones, a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the flame of rebellion could never be extinguished. Centuries later, as the legends of the Titans faded into myth, Pallene's legacy lived on. She became known as the Titaness of War, a formidable warrior whose name evoked both fear and admiration. Poets and storytellers sang of her exploits, immortalizing her as a symbol of indomitable courage and unwavering loyalty. In the annals of Greek mythology, Pallene's name stands as a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. She represents the indomitable will to fight for what one believes in, even against insurmountable odds. Her story continues to inspire generations, reminding us that even in the darkest of times, the flame of hope can never be extinguished. As the sun sets on the horizon, casting long shadows across the land, the legend of Pallene, the Titaness of War, echoes through the ages. Her name is a reminder that the battle for justice and freedom is an eternal struggle, and that even in the face of adversity, the human spirit will always prevail. In the realm of ancient Greece, where gods and mortals intertwined, there existed a tale of a formidable serpent named Python. Its colossal form coiled around the sacred oracle of Delphi, its venomous gaze striking terror into the hearts of all who dared approach. Apollo, the radiant god of light and prophecy, was tasked with slaying this monstrous creature. Armed with his golden bow and silver arrows, he descended from Mount Olympus, his presence illuminating the desolate landscape. As Apollo approached the oracle, the ground trembled beneath his feet. Python emerged from its lair, its scales shimmering like 1,000 emeralds. Its eyes glowed with an eerie intensity, and its forked tongue flickered with malice. A fierce battle ensued. Apollo's arrows pierced the air with blinding speed, but Python's thick hide deflected them like mere pebbles. The serpent lunged at Apollo, its fangs bared, but the god nimbly dodged its attack. For hours, the battle raged on, neither combatant gaining an advantage. Apollo's arrows seemed to have no effect, while Python's venomous bites proved ineffective against the god's divine nature. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the battlefield, Apollo realized he needed a new strategy. He summoned his lyre, its strings shimmering with celestial energy. As he plucked the strings, a melodious tune filled the air, enchanting both the serpent and the surrounding landscape. Python's movements slowed as it became mesmerized by the music. Apollo seized this opportunity and unleashed a barrage of arrows, each one imbued with the power of the sun. The arrows pierced Python's scales, sending waves of agony through its massive body. With a final, deafening roar, Python collapsed to the ground, its lifeblood staining the earth. Apollo had triumphed over the monstrous serpent, freeing the oracle of Delphi from its clutches. As the last rays of sunlight faded, Apollo stood victorious over the slain Python. The oracle, once shrouded in darkness, now radiated with a newfound brilliance. The people of Greece rejoiced, for they knew that the god of prophecy had protected them from a terrible fate. From that day forward, the oracle of Delphi became a sacred sanctuary, where Apollo's wisdom and guidance could be sought by all who came in search of truth. And the tale of Python, the serpent slain by Apollo, was passed down through generations, a testament to the power of light over darkness. In the aftermath of the battle, Apollo established the Pythian Games, a festival held every 4 years in honor of his victory. Athletes from all over Greece competed in various events, including chariot races, wrestling, and music competitions. The Pythian Games became a symbol of Apollo's patronage of the arts and athletics, and they continued to be celebrated for centuries to come. As the years passed, the legend of Python evolved and took on new meanings. In some versions of the tale, Python was said to be the offspring of Gaia, the primordial earth goddess. This connection to the earth gave Python a symbolic significance, representing the untamed forces of nature that must be overcome by the forces of civilization. In other interpretations, Python was seen as a representation of chaos and disorder. Its defeat by Apollo symbolized the triumph of order and reason over the irrational and unpredictable. The oracle of Delphi, once guarded by the serpent, became a beacon of knowledge and enlightenment, a place where people could seek guidance and understanding in a world often filled with uncertainty. And so, the tale of Python, the serpent slain by Apollo, continued to be told and retold, its meaning and significance evolving with the passage of time. It became a timeless allegory of the struggle between light and darkness, order and chaos, and the enduring power of human reason and creativity. In the treacherous waters of the Strait of Messina, where the Tyrrhenian Sea met the Ionian, lurked a formidable sea monster known as Scylla. With her 12 monstrous legs and 6 gaping heads, each lined with rows of razor-sharp teeth, she was a terror to all who dared to sail those perilous straits. Scylla's origins were shrouded in myth and legend. Some whispered that she was once a beautiful nymph, cursed by the jealous sorceress Circe into her monstrous form. Others claimed she was the daughter of the sea god Phorcys and the monstrous sea goddess Ceto. Whatever her true origins, Scylla had become a legend, a symbol of the dangers that lurked beneath the waves. Her lair was a towering cliff that jutted out into the strait, its jagged rocks forming a labyrinth of hidden caves and treacherous currents. From her perch, Scylla would lie in wait, her keen eyes scanning the horizon for unsuspecting prey. When a ship approached, she would strike with lightning speed, her 6 heads darting out from the shadows, their teeth gnashing and tearing at the hapless sailors. One fateful day, as the Greek hero Odysseus and his crew sailed through the Strait of Messina, they encountered the dreaded Scylla. Odysseus had been warned of the monster's presence, but he had no choice but to navigate the treacherous waters. As his ship approached the cliff, Scylla emerged from her lair, her monstrous head snapping at the oarsmen. Odysseus, ever the cunning strategist, had devised a plan to outwit the sea monster. He ordered his men to row with all their might, while he stood at the helm, armed with a bow and arrow. As Scylla's heads lunged towards the ship, Odysseus fired a volley of arrows, piercing the eyes of each head. With her vision impaired, Scylla retreated into her lair, howling in pain and frustration. Odysseus and his crew had narrowly escaped the clutches of the sea monster, but they knew that their journey was far from over. The Strait of Messina remained a perilous passage, and the legend of Scylla would continue to haunt the minds of sailors for centuries to come. In the years that followed, Scylla's reputation as a fearsome sea monster grew. Sailors would often avoid the Strait of Messina altogether, choosing to take the longer and safer route around Sicily. But for those who dared to venture through the treacherous waters, the threat of Scylla was ever present. One day, a young and ambitious sailor named Theseus decided to challenge the sea monster. Armed with a sword and a shield, he sailed into the Strait of Messina, determined to slay Scylla and prove his worth. As he approached the cliff, Scylla emerged from her lair, her 6 heads snapping at him. Theseus stood his ground, his sword raised high. He fought valiantly, parrying Scylla's attacks and striking back with all his might. But the sea monster was too powerful, and Theseus was soon overwhelmed. With a mighty roar, Scylla seized Theseus in her jaws and dragged him down into the depths. The legend of Scylla and Theseus became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers that lurked in the unknown depths of the sea. And so, the Strait of Messina remained a place of fear and legend, where the memory of the monstrous Scylla haunted the minds of sailors for generations to come. In the scorching sands of ancient Egypt, where the sun blazed relentlessly and the wind whispered secrets of forgotten times, there stood a colossal enigma that captivated the imagination of all who beheld it, the Sphinx. With its enigmatic gaze and enigmatic smile, the Sphinx guarded the entrance to the Great Pyramids of Giza, its massive body carved from a single block of limestone. Its lion's body, adorned with intricate hieroglyphs, symbolized strength and power, while its human head, with its serene expression, hinted at wisdom and knowledge. Legend whispered that the Sphinx was built by the pharaoh Khafre, who ruled Egypt during the 4th dynasty. It was said that the Sphinx was a representation of the pharaoh himself, a symbol of his divine authority and eternal reign. As the centuries passed, the Sphinx became a beacon of mystery and wonder. Travelers from distant lands marveled at its grandeur, and scholars pondered its hidden meanings. Some believed that the Sphinx held the key to ancient secrets, while others saw it as a symbol of the enduring power of human civilization. One fateful day, a young prince named Thutmose embarked on a hunting expedition in the desert. As he pursued his prey, he stumbled upon the Sphinx, half buried in the shifting sands. Exhausted and thirsty, Thutmose fell asleep at the foot of the colossal statue. In his dreams, the Sphinx came to life and spoke to him. "I am the guardian of the sands," the Sphinx said, its voice deep and resonant. "I have watched over this land for centuries, and I have seen the rise and fall of empires. You, young prince, are destined for greatness. But first, you must prove yourself worthy." Thutmose awoke with a start, his heart pounding in his chest. He knew that the Sphinx had spoken to him for a reason. Determined to prove his worth, he vowed to clear the sands that had engulfed the Sphinx and restore it to its former glory. With the help of his loyal followers, Thutmose spent years excavating the Sphinx. As they worked, they uncovered ancient inscriptions that revealed the Sphinx's true purpose. It was not merely a symbol of power or a guardian of the pyramids, but a repository of knowledge and wisdom. The Sphinx contained a vast library of hieroglyphs that chronicled the history of Egypt, its gods, and its people. It also held secrets of astronomy, mathematics, and medicine. Thutmose and his scholars spent countless hours deciphering the inscriptions, unlocking the secrets of the ancient world. As the Sphinx was restored to its former glory, it became a symbol of hope and renewal for the people of Egypt. It represented the enduring power of knowledge and the triumph of human spirit over adversity. And so, the Sphinx continued to stand guard over the Great Pyramids of Giza, its enigmatic gaze forever fixed on the horizon. It became a timeless icon, a testament to the ingenuity and wisdom of the ancient Egyptians, and a reminder that even in the face of time's relentless march, the pursuit of knowledge and the search for meaning will always endure. In the depths of Mount Etna, where the earth's molten heart roared and thundered, there lived a formidable cyclops named Sterapes. Unlike his brethren, Brontes and Argesh, who wielded thunderbolts and lightning, Sterapes possessed an extraordinary gift for craftsmanship and metallurgy. With his single, piercing eye, he could discern the finest details, and his massive hands, each the size of a boulder, were as deft as those of a master jeweler. Sterapes' forge was a marvel of ingenuity, its walls lined with glowing embers and the air thick with the scent of molten metal. One fateful day, as Sterapes toiled at his anvil, a messenger from the gods arrived. Zeus, the king of Olympus, had summoned him to forge a weapon of unparalleled power, a thunderbolt that would shatter mountains and incinerate armies. Sterapes accepted the commission with a grim determination. He gathered the finest ores from the depths of the earth and smelted them in his fiery forge. For days and nights, he hammered and shaped the metal, his muscles straining with each blow. As the thunderbolt took form, Sterapes infused it with his own essence, imbuing it with a portion of his indomitable spirit. When it was finally complete, it was a masterpiece of craftsmanship, a weapon of unimaginable destruction. Zeus himself descended from Olympus to witness the unveiling of the thunderbolt. As Sterapes presented it to the king, a surge of awe and trepidation coursed through the divine assembly. Zeus thanked Sterapes for his service and bestowed upon him the title of Master Craftsman of the Gods. From that day forward, Sterapes' reputation as a legendary blacksmith spread throughout the realms. Gods and mortals alike sought his services, commissioning him to forge weapons, armor, and other objects of extraordinary beauty and power. One such commission came from the hero Hercules, who sought a weapon to aid him in his 12 labors. Sterapes forged for him a mighty club, its head studded with sharp spikes and its shaft made from the unbreakable wood of the world tree. With this club, Hercules vanquished countless monsters and overcame seemingly insurmountable challenges. The legend of Sterapes' craftsmanship became intertwined with the tales of Hercules' heroic deeds, forever etched in the annals of mythology. As the centuries passed, Sterapes continued to ply his trade in the depths of Mount Etna. He forged weapons for the gods, armor for heroes, and tools for mortals. His creations became symbols of power, valor, and ingenuity. And so, the name of Sterapes, the master craftsman of the gods, lived on, a testament to the indomitable spirit and extraordinary skill that resided within the heart of a single-eyed Cyclops. In the depths of the underworld, where darkness reigned supreme and the air crackled with an oppressive weight, lay Tartarus, a realm of eternal torment and despair. It was a place where the wicked were cast down to suffer unimaginable horrors, and where the Titans, once mighty beings who had challenged the gods, were imprisoned for all eternity. The entrance to Tartarus was a gaping chasm, its jagged edges lined with razor-sharp rocks. A thick, acrid smoke billowed forth from the abyss, carrying with it the stench of burning flesh and the screams of the damned. As one descended into the depths, the darkness grew thicker, enveloping the senses like a suffocating blanket. The landscape of Tartarus was a desolate wasteland, devoid of any semblance of life. The ground was barren and cracked, and the air was filled with the sound of howling winds and the clashing of chains. Rivers of molten lava flowed through the twisted ravines, casting an eerie glow upon the surroundings. In the center of Tartarus stood a towering fortress, its walls made of impenetrable obsidian. This was the prison of the Titans, where they were bound in chains and subjected to endless torment. The Titans, once proud and powerful, were now mere shadows of their former selves, their bodies broken and their spirits shattered. Among the Titans was Atlas, who was forced to bear the weight of the heavens on his shoulders. His muscles bulged with strain, and his eyes were filled with an unyielding defiance. Prometheus, who had stolen fire from the gods, was chained to a rock and had his liver pecked out by an eagle every day. His screams of agony echoed through the fortress, a constant reminder of the price he had paid for his rebellion. But Tartarus was not only a prison for the Titans. It was also a place of torment for the wicked, those who had committed heinous crimes in their mortal lives. Here, they were subjected to punishments that were as varied as their sins. Some were forced to roll a giant boulder up a hill, only to have it roll back down again, forever repeating their futile task. Others were suspended over a pit of fire, their bodies slowly roasting as they watched their loved ones suffer in the flames below. The punishments in Tartarus were designed to break the spirits of the wicked, to make them regret their past actions and to serve as a warning to others. But even in the face of such unimaginable horrors, some still clung to a flicker of hope, believing that one day they might be released from their torment. One such soul was Sisyphus, a cunning king who had cheated death multiple times. As punishment, he was forced to roll a boulder up a hill, only to have it roll back down again. But Sisyphus refused to give up. He would push the boulder up the hill with all his might, even though he knew it would never reach the top. Sisyphus's defiance was a beacon of hope in the darkness of Tartarus. It showed that even in the face of eternal torment, the human spirit could not be completely extinguished. As the centuries passed, Tartarus became a legend, a place whispered about in hushed tones by mortals and immortals alike. It was a realm of darkness and despair, but it was also a place where the human spirit could be tested and where hope could still flicker, no matter how faint. In the primordial depths of Tartarus, where darkness reigned supreme and chaos danced, there dwelled a monstrous serpentine giant named Typhon. His colossal form, writhing with 1,000 coils, stretched across the abyss like an endless nightmare. His eyes glowed with an infernal fire, and his breath was a venomous miasma that could wither the strongest of beings. Typhon was the son of Gaia, the earth, and Tartarus, the abyss of darkness. From his birth, he was destined to be a force of destruction and chaos. His siblings were a pantheon of horrors, the three-headed dog Cerberus, the monstrous Hydra, and the Chimera, a grotesque fusion of lion, goat, and serpent. As Typhon grew in power, he became a threat to the gods of Olympus. Zeus, the king of the gods, feared his immense strength and sought to vanquish him. A fierce battle ensued, the heavens trembling with the clash of thunderbolts and the roar of Typhon's serpentine coils. Zeus hurled his lightning bolts with all his might, but Typhon's scales were impervious to their power. The giant retaliated with a venomous breath that scorched the earth and poisoned the air. The gods fought valiantly, but Typhon's monstrous form proved too formidable. In desperation, Zeus summoned his most powerful weapon, the thunderbolt of his father, Cronus. With a deafening roar, he hurled the thunderbolt at Typhon, striking him with a force that shook the foundations of the world. The giant's coils writhed in agony as the thunderbolt coursed through his body, incinerating his flesh and shattering his bones. With a final, deafening roar, Typhon collapsed into a heap of smoldering ashes. The gods rejoiced at his defeat, but they knew that his legacy would live on. From his monstrous union with Echidna, the mother of all monsters, Typhon had fathered a brood of horrors that would plague the world for centuries to come. Among his offspring were the Harpies, winged creatures with the heads of women and the bodies of birds, who tormented the living with their screeching and filth. The Gorgons, with their venomous gaze that turned men to stone, were another of Typhon's monstrous creations. The Sphinx, a creature with the head of a woman, the body of a lion, and the wings of an eagle, was also said to be the daughter of Typhon. Her enigmatic riddle, which she posed to travelers, was a deadly trap that claimed countless lives. Typhon's legacy extended beyond the physical realm. His name became synonymous with chaos, destruction, and the primal forces that lurked beneath the surface of the world. In ancient Greece, people believed that earthquakes and volcanic eruptions were caused by Typhon's restless spirit, writhing beneath the earth. As the centuries passed, Typhon's legend faded into myth and folklore. But his monstrous form and the horrors he fathered remained etched in the collective memory of humanity, a testament to the primal fears that have haunted us since the dawn of time. And so, in the depths of Tartarus, where darkness and chaos reigned supreme, the spirit of Typhon continued to slumber, a monstrous reminder of the destructive forces that could erupt from the depths of the earth and the human soul. In the verdant realm of Eldoria, where ancient forests whispered secrets and rivers flowed with ethereal grace, there lived a solitary centaur named Orion. With his muscular equine body and the noble countenance of a man, Orion possessed an enigmatic aura that set him apart from the other creatures of the land. Orion's origins were shrouded in mystery. Some whispered that he was the offspring of a forbidden union between a human and a mare, while others believed he was a creation of the gods, sent to guide and protect the realm. Whatever his true lineage, Orion carried himself with a quiet dignity that commanded respect. He roamed the vast plains of Eldoria, his keen eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of danger. His hooves pounded the earth with a rhythmic beat, carrying him swiftly across the land. Orion's presence brought a sense of tranquility to the creatures he encountered, for they knew that he was a guardian of the realm. One fateful day, as Orion galloped through a dense forest, he heard a faint cry for help. Dismounting from his horse-like body, he cautiously approached the source of the sound. There, amidst the tangled undergrowth, he found a young human girl, lost and frightened. Orion's heart stirred with compassion. He gently lifted the girl onto his back and carried her out of the forest. As they rode, the girl told Orion her story. She had wandered away from her village while chasing a butterfly and had become hopelessly lost. Orion listened intently, his eyes filled with understanding. He knew the dangers that lurked in the untamed wilderness, and he was determined to return the girl safely to her home. As they approached the village, the girl's parents rushed out to meet them. Tears of joy streamed down their faces as they embraced their daughter. Orion watched with a sense of fulfillment, knowing that he had made a difference in their lives. From that day forward, Orion became a legend in Eldoria. He was known as the Centaur of Compassion, a protector of the innocent and a guide for the lost. People from far and wide sought his wisdom and guidance, and he never turned anyone away. As the years passed, Orion's reputation grew. He became a symbol of hope and unity in a realm often torn by conflict. He taught the creatures of Eldoria the importance of cooperation and understanding, and he helped to bridge the gap between humans and animals. One day, as Orion stood on a hilltop overlooking the vast expanse of Eldoria, he felt a profound sense of peace. He had lived a long and fulfilling life, and he knew that his legacy would live on long after he was gone. As the sun began to set, Orion closed his eyes and breathed his last breath. His spirit soared into the heavens, where he became a constellation, forever watching over the realm he had loved so dearly. And so, the legend of Orion, the Centaur of Compassion, was passed down through generations, inspiring countless creatures to live lives of kindness, courage, and unity. In the depths of the underworld, where shadows danced and the air crackled with an eerie silence, there stood a formidable guardian, Cerberus, the three-headed dog. His monstrous form, with its 3 snarling heads, razor-sharp teeth, and venomous eyes, instilled terror in the hearts of all who dared to approach. Cerberus's duty was to guard the gates of Hades, the realm of the dead. He was the gatekeeper, preventing the living from entering and the dead from escaping. His 3 heads symbolized the past, present, and future, ensuring that no one could slip through his watchful gaze. One fateful day, a young hero named Orpheus ventured into the underworld in search of his beloved Eurydice. Orpheus, a renowned musician, possessed a lyre that could charm even the most savage beasts. As he approached Cerberus, he began to play a haunting melody. The music flowed through the underworld, its sweet notes echoing through the desolate halls. Cerberus, drawn to the enchanting sound, lowered his head and listened intently. The music soothed his savage nature, and for a brief moment, he forgot his duty. Orpheus, seeing his opportunity, slipped past Cerberus and entered the realm of the dead. He journeyed through the shadowy depths, his lyre guiding his way. Finally, he reached the throne of Hades, the lord of the underworld. Orpheus pleaded with Hades to release Eurydice, promising to return her safely to the world of the living. Hades, moved by Orpheus's music and his unwavering love, agreed to his request. However, he warned Orpheus that he must not look back at Eurydice as they ascended from the underworld. As Orpheus and Eurydice made their way back to the living world, Orpheus's heart pounded with anticipation. He could hear Eurydice's footsteps behind him, and the thought of being reunited with her filled him with joy. But as they approached the boundary between the underworld and the world of the living, Orpheus's curiosity got the better of him. He turned his head to glance at Eurydice, and in that instant, she vanished into thin air. Orpheus's heart shattered into a million pieces. He had failed to fulfill his promise to Hades, and Eurydice was lost to him forever. In his grief, Orpheus wandered the earth, his music filled with sorrow and longing. Meanwhile, Cerberus, his duty forgotten, remained at the gates of the underworld. The memory of Orpheus's music lingered in his mind, a bittersweet reminder of the brief respite he had experienced. As centuries passed, Cerberus became a legend, a symbol of both the horrors and the occasional glimpses of compassion that could be found even in the darkest of realms. And so, the three-headed dog continued to guard the gates of Hades, his watchful eyes forever scanning the shadows for any who dared to challenge his authority. In the depths of the underworld, where shadows danced and the air crackled with an eerie silence, there lay a formidable guardian, Cerberus, the three-headed dog. His monstrous form, with its three snarling heads and venomous tail, instilled terror in the hearts of all who dared to approach. Cerberus's origins were shrouded in mystery. Some whispered that he was the offspring of the monstrous Typhon and Echidna, while others believed he was a creation of Hades, the lord of the underworld. Regardless of his lineage, Cerberus's purpose was clear: to guard the gates of the underworld and prevent the living from entering and the dead from escaping. His three heads were a testament to his vigilance. One head faced forward, its eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of intruders. The second head turned to the left, its gaze fixed on the path leading to the surface world. The third head, with its piercing eyes, watched over the souls of the dead, ensuring they remained within the confines of the underworld. Cerberus's bark was as terrifying as his appearance. Its thunderous roar could shake the very foundations of the underworld, sending shivers down the spines of even the most hardened souls. His venomous tail lashed out with deadly precision, its sharp spikes capable of piercing through flesh and bone. Despite his fearsome reputation, Cerberus was not without his weaknesses. The ancient hero Orpheus, armed with his enchanting lyre, managed to lull Cerberus to sleep with his sweet melodies. Hercules, the legendary demigod, wrestled with Cerberus and emerged victorious, dragging the three-headed dog to the surface world as proof of his triumph. But these were rare exceptions. For the most part, Cerberus remained an insurmountable obstacle, a formidable guardian who ensured the sanctity of the underworld. His presence alone was enough to deter even the most daring adventurers from venturing into the realm of the dead. One fateful day, a young woman named Eurydice, who had been bitten by a venomous snake, descended into the underworld in search of her beloved husband, Orpheus. As she approached the gates, Cerberus's three heads rose from the darkness, their eyes blazing with fury. Eurydice's heart pounded in her chest as she faced the monstrous guardian. She knew that her chances of passing were slim, but she was determined to find her husband. With trembling hands, she reached into her bag and pulled out a honey cake, a delicacy that was said to appease even the most savage of beasts. Slowly and cautiously, Eurydice approached Cerberus, offering him the honey cake. To her astonishment, the three heads lowered their snouts and began to lick the sweet treat. As they devoured the cake, their eyes softened, and their barking subsided. With each bite, Cerberus's vigilance waned. Eurydice seized the opportunity and slipped past the three heads, her heart filled with both relief and trepidation. She had outsmarted the guardian of the underworld, but she knew that her journey was far from over. As Eurydice ventured deeper into the underworld, she encountered countless other challenges and dangers. But the memory of Cerberus's three heads, and the honey cake that had pacified them, gave her strength and determination. She knew that if she could overcome the guardian of the underworld, she could overcome anything. And so, Eurydice continued her journey, her heart filled with hope and the knowledge that even the most formidable of obstacles could be overcome with a little cunning and a lot of courage. In the fathomless depths of the primordial ocean, where sunlight dwindled into an ethereal glow, there dwelled a formidable sea monster named Ceto. Her colossal form, adorned with iridescent scales and razor-sharp teeth, commanded both awe and terror. As the mother of countless sea creatures, she reigned supreme over the watery realm. Ceto's origins were shrouded in ancient myth and legend. Some whispered that she was the daughter of Pontus, the personification of the sea, and Gaia, the Earth Mother. Others believed she emerged from the primordial chaos, a manifestation of the untamed forces that shaped the world. Her lair was a labyrinthine network of underwater caves and tunnels, hidden from the prying eyes of mortals. Within these watery chambers, Ceto tended to her brood, a vast and diverse array of marine life. Giant squid, with their writhing tentacles and venomous beaks, were her loyal guardians. Schools of shimmering fish, their scales reflecting a kaleidoscope of colors, darted through the water like silver arrows. And colossal whales, their mournful songs echoing through the depths, paid homage to their formidable matriarch. Ceto's maternal instincts were fierce and unwavering. She protected her young with a ferocity that matched her monstrous appearance. Any creature that dared to threaten her brood faced her wrath, a swift and merciless attack that left no survivors. But beneath her fearsome exterior, Ceto possessed a deep and abiding connection to the ocean. She understood the delicate balance of the marine ecosystem and played a vital role in maintaining its harmony. With her powerful tail, she could stir up the waters, creating currents that carried nutrients to distant shores. Her presence alone kept predators at bay, ensuring the survival of countless species. As the centuries passed, Ceto's legend grew, becoming intertwined with the folklore of countless coastal communities. Sailors whispered tales of her monstrous form, warning of the dangers that lurked beneath the waves. Fishermen offered sacrifices to appease her, hoping to secure her favor and ensure a bountiful catch. One fateful day, a young prince named Perseus embarked on a perilous quest to slay the monstrous Gorgon, Medusa. As he sailed across the ocean, his ship was caught in a violent storm. The waves crashed against the hull, threatening to engulf the vessel. In desperation, Perseus called out to the gods for aid. To his astonishment, Ceto emerged from the depths, her colossal form towering over the ship. With a deafening roar, she calmed the storm, her presence bringing a sense of peace to the raging waters. Perseus, filled with gratitude, offered Ceto a gift in return for her assistance. He presented her with a golden necklace, adorned with precious gems. Ceto accepted the gift with a nod of her massive head, her eyes gleaming with a hint of amusement. From that day forward, Ceto became a guardian of Perseus, watching over him as he continued his quest. She protected him from treacherous currents and guided his ship through treacherous waters. And when Perseus finally returned home victorious, Ceto escorted him safely to shore, her presence a symbol of the enduring bond between the sea monster and the mortal hero. As the ages turned into millennia, Ceto's legacy lived on. She became a symbol of both the untamed power of the ocean and the nurturing embrace of motherhood. Her name was whispered with reverence by sailors and fishermen alike, a reminder of the interconnectedness of all living creatures. And so, in the depths of the vast and enigmatic ocean, Ceto, the sea monster, continued to reign supreme, a formidable guardian and a loving matriarch, forever entwined in the tapestry of marine life. In the treacherous waters of the Strait of Messina, where the Ionian and Tyrrhenian seas collide, lurked a monstrous whirlpool known as Charybdis. Its insatiable maw swallowed ships whole, leaving behind only shattered wreckage and the cries of drowning sailors. Legend had it that Charybdis was once a beautiful nymph, cursed by the gods for her arrogance. Zeus, the king of the gods, transformed her into a monstrous whirlpool, forever condemned to devour the sea. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the strait, a lone ship approached the perilous waters. The crew, weary from days of relentless sailing, were unaware of the danger that lay ahead. At the helm stood Odysseus, the cunning hero of the Trojan War. Having escaped the clutches of the Cyclops Polyphemus, he now faced a new and equally formidable challenge. As the ship drew closer to the whirlpool, the water began to churn and bubble. A deafening roar filled the air as Charybdis opened its gaping maw, threatening to engulf the vessel. Odysseus, with his quick wit and unwavering resolve, ordered his crew to row with all their might. The oarsmen strained against the relentless current, their muscles burning with exertion. As the ship teetered on the brink of disaster, Odysseus lashed himself to the mast, determined to survive. With each passing moment, the whirlpool's suction grew stronger. The ship creaked and groaned as it was pulled towards the abyss. Sailors were thrown overboard, their screams swallowed by the relentless roar. But Odysseus held fast, his eyes fixed on the distant shore. As the whirlpool reached its peak, the ship was lifted high into the air, then plunged into the depths. Darkness enveloped Odysseus as the water closed over his head. In the depths of the whirlpool, Odysseus found himself trapped in a swirling vortex. The pressure was unbearable, and his lungs burned for air. Yet, amidst the chaos, he clung to a glimmer of hope. Suddenly, the current shifted, and Odysseus was propelled upwards. He gasped for breath as he broke the surface of the water, his body battered but his spirit unbroken. As he looked around, he realized that he had been miraculously spared. The ship had been destroyed, but Odysseus had survived. With newfound determination, he swam towards the distant shore, his heart filled with gratitude for his escape from the clutches of Charybdis. From that day forward, the legend of Odysseus and his encounter with the whirlpool monster became a tale whispered among sailors. It served as a warning of the perils that lurked in the treacherous waters of the Strait of Messina, and a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who dared to face the unknown. And so, the whirlpool of Charybdis remained a constant threat to those who sailed the seas, a reminder of the unforgiving power of nature and the fragility of human life.